The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 6 is directed by John Polson. It aired last night, so I'm going to let you know what I thought about this episode, any Easter eggs that I found. At the end of the video, I'm going to give my predictions. And as always for these videos, I will be talking spoilers, so if you have not seen the episode yet, definitely go watch it and then come right back here and I will let you know what I thought. Right off the bat, I just got to say I really did enjoy this episode, and I really enjoy what they're doing with this season so far. And not just in the terms of it just being an all-out war and all action, but the fact that none of these episodes have been bottled up entirely. Sure, last episode was the most bottled up that we got because it was mainly about everything going on at the sanctuary, but it still showed us things that were going on elsewhere. Last season, it was mainly about one episode, one character. There was an episode about Daryl and his tortured time at the sanctuary. There was an episode about Tara finding the ocean side. Those were some of the worst episodes of the series. And this season, it's just been like everything's happening all together, and I love it. And that's what we need. That's what we got in season 6, I think it was, with the big herd coming to Alexandria. It's just, we need more of all the characters, and that's what they're giving us this season. And the beginning of this episode was awesome because you finally get kind of the reveal of what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing with the cameras. They're taking pictures. Rick was writing a note at the end of a couple episodes ago, I think it was. We didn't know what these letters were, what these pictures were that they're doing. And then we get the reveal. They're updates to the other leaders. Carol wrote a letter to update everyone. You know, all the kingdom people have been pretty much killed, except for King Ezekiel, Carol, and Jerry. They're the only ones that made it back. Rick was updating, like, we got to keep doing this. We're winning. And Maggie, she updates too, and it's just a really interesting concept with pictures, and I love it. It's like email updates, but in their post-apocalyptic form. I love it. And in this episode, we finally get back to Alexandria, and we see Michonne and Carl and Rosita and everyone back at Alexandria, who we haven't seen for several episodes. And eventually, you know, Michonne and Rosita go on their own adventure mission. Really, Michonne just wants to see the sanctuary and to see what's happening because she can get all the letter updates that she wants, but it's not going to show her exactly what she wants to see. And what she wants to see is that Rick's plan is actually succeeding and Rick might still be alive because they don't really know exactly where Rick is right now. I think they have an idea, but I don't know if they know that he's actually been imprisoned and he's naked. And I'll get to that soon. But speaking of that, the trash people, or what the people on Talking Dead call the heapsters, they were very interesting in this episode. And I was, as soon as Rick goes to talk to them, I'm like, you know they're going to betray you again. And sure enough, they do. But in the process, you know, when we first see Jadis, she's being weird and artsy, but she's naked and it's awkward. And then it walks by a naked man. It's like, whoa, okay, I don't want to see any of this stuff going on here. But Rick comes in and he's like, I want to make another deal, you know. I like the way he talks to them. He's like, you know, if you don't make a deal, we're gonna have to destroy you. And this, I'll get to this in my predictions, but I think they're gonna come back later on. I don't think their storyline's gonna end here at all. So still at the beginning of the episode, you know, Jesus is getting on everyone's nerves, Gregory's nerves, Maggie's nerves, because he's wanting to spare all the saviors. He doesn't want to kill a single one of them. And King Ezekiel doesn't really want to talk to anyone. He's really depressed because he lost almost all of his people in that battle, in that just open field. They just mowed them all down with that, I think it was a 50 caliber. But my goodness, the characters in The Walking Dead have taken a hit, and especially King Ezekiel losing all of his people and his tiger. So it's everything's, you know, kind of on a downhill path right now, but we're eventually going to go right back up. and I don't think it's going to be soon. I don't even know if it's going to be before for the mid-season finale. I love how Rick uses the pictures not only to update everyone, like the Alexandrians, the Kingdom people, the people at the hilltop. He's not only using the pictures to update them, but also to show the trash people, the heapsters, who they're aligned with and why they should join Rick. And yeah, it was just an interesting concept. Like, here you guys go, look at this. And then Jadis is like, no, still don't trust you. Like, I gotta say, I hate the way she talks, but I also love it. It's menacing in a frustrating way, because it's like, come on, you. It's only been a couple of years, right? I mean, they were humans, regular human people beforehand. They had jobs, they had lives that they had to lead. They had to speak normally. They're basically speaking like cavemen, and it's kind of annoying, but like I said, I kind of like it. Gregory is getting people pissed off at him, especially Maggie. And I gotta say, when Maggie finally decides to bring the Saviors in to just imprison them within the gates, I love the fact that they put Gregory in there. And I have this terrible feeling that Gregory is spying for Negan, but at the same time, Gregory's like trying to push for Maggie to get all the Saviors killed. So I kind of like what Gregory's doing. He's playing both sides. It just adds more depth to his character. I don't like his character, but you know, he's gonna serve a greater purpose soon, unfortunately. So Rosita and Michonne, like I said, they go out on their own adventure, but I love the fact that when before they leave, they use very basic language like, I just got beat up last time, you got shot, you're still healing, all this stuff. It's like, yeah, that's how people would talk normally, and I love the fact that they use that simple of language to just get the message across. They're like, no, let's go. And for some reason, Michonne is driving first, and then a couple minutes later in the show, Rosita's driving. It's like, when did you switch? Why did you switch? Rosita got shot. You just said that. Michonne doesn't have to heal as much. Why are you making the shot person drive? So Michonne and Rosita are just driving along, and then Michonne suddenly hears something, and they're like, wait, stop the car, we gotta see what's going on. And they infiltrate this school, some kind of building or something, and they find this truck loaded with all these speakers, and basically what the Saviors are trying to do is use these speakers to draw away the walkers from the sanctuary. And I love that idea. And I love the fact that they just stumbled upon it, and they're like, we gotta stop this. And I love the fight that ensues after that. You know, it's Michonne versus that woman. But the fight scene was very raw. It wasn't stylized or anything, and I actually really enjoyed that. And Michonne actually had someone to fight her with her sword against. It wasn't just a slice and they're dead. It was actually like a duel, a fight. And I love the fact that Rosita destroys that guy with the rocket launcher. That was amazing. Now before that, I was like, come on, Rosita, really? Like, first off, Michonne kicks a tennis ball. I'm like, why aren't you looking where you're walking? Come on. And then Rosita totally gives away her position instead of just, boom, shooting him. She stands up, like, I'm going to get a better angle from way up here. No, just shoot him. And then she's running through. I get it that she's shot, but she runs into something, drops the gun underneath one of the pallets or whatever, and she's like, I don't know where I went. I'm just going to keep running. That just bothered me. But she found the RPG, just blew up that one guy, and that was shot really nicely in how they did it. That was cool. But then you think that they failed because the truck is driving away. And then I was like, oh no, how are they going to stop this? There's got to be another car around there that they can take. But they don't have to, because Daryl and Tara just T-bone the speaker truck, and that was amazing. I'm like, yes, thank you, Daryl and Tara, you did it. And as annoying as it is to the plan that Daryl, Tara, Michonne, and Rosita are off doing their own thing, it's benefiting Rick and the plan and the groups that are involved, because that could have destroyed everything that they worked toward. Because that speaker truck, I think they called it the Fat Lady, would have led all the walkers away from the sanctuary. And so what they're doing is very beneficial. However, I have some predictions for this storyline at the end of this video. So in this episode, we also get Carl returning into the forefront. He's going out looking for this new character named Sadiq, and he actually meets him. He talks to him. They get to know each other. And I love the fact that they brought back the 3 questions. We haven't seen that since season 6, I think it was, with Jesus. And then before that, it was like season 4 with, how many walkers have you killed? How many people? Why? And as soon as he started asking them, I'm like, yes, it's the return of the questions. I don't know why I geeked out about that, because it's something that has it's popped up every now and then for several seasons. And I love the fact that they're still using those questions. It's like it hasn't evolved into something better. It's still the same thing because they nailed it right away. Those are the most important questions that you need to ask somebody. I love the fact that he's like, I killed 237 walkers. Like, whoa, like, that's a lot. I don't know if he was surprised at that being that many, that few, or that he's been keeping track that closely. 237 walkers, that's quite a bit. That's more than Carl's killed. Probably not as many as Rick's killed, because he went out berserker in the prison and at Alexandria. And those are the episodes that I love. Anyway, that scene with Carl and Sadiq, I was frustrated with Carl because he's so helpless. Every time he runs into walkers, he's unable to do what he has to do. Eventually, if Carl's character continues, if Chandler Riggs wants to stay on this show, I think his contract is up after this season, then that character needs to start getting better at killing walkers. He needs to get more skilled. I mean, he's pretty much grown up in this world. So you'd think that he would have kind of a stronger presence fighting these walkers, but he still doesn't. He's falling over all the time. He's not very strong. And it just bothers me. I'm like, come on, kid. Come on. Carol's doing much better than you. Granted, Carol's awesome, but come on. Come on, Carl. Speaking of Carol, she finally gets in, talks to King Ezekiel. He's all depressed. I love their interaction because Carol's like, why did you just keep coming back to me? I was perfectly fine. He's like, because I can be real with you. It's like, then be real right now, because your people need you. You need to put on your act. And I was waiting for her to say, fake it till you make it, baby, but she didn't. And I really wanted her to, because I think that might have turned King Ezekiel around and be like, you're right, I gotta fake it till I can make it. She's getting through the pain of losing all the people of the kingdom too, but now she has to deal with this little kid who is actually Benjamin's little brother. Benjamin is the guy that was training with Morgan. So now the little kid has the stick and he's trying to fight off walkers, and he's not doing too bad. Carol comes to save the day. But this kid probably will get annoying. He's like, I'm not afraid, As soon as she comes in, saves him, I'm like, don't tell him to look at the flowers, don't do it. The kids that she runs into don't usually last. I think this kid will be the exception to that rule, because he's kind of fearless in a way. He's the opposite of Sam, and not quite as far as that one girl in season 4 who I'm blanking the name on. So at the end of the episode, we see that Rick has been imprisoned by the trash people, or the heapsters. So I don't know if Rick is where he wants to be, or if he's freaked out, like, okay, I hope my people are still on the plan and they know to come get me and take care of these trash people. It remains to be seen. Hopefully we'll get the answer to that in the next episode. If not, then it'll be the mid-season finale. We only have 2 episodes left this year, so I'm excited to see where they take it and how quickly we get there. So overall, I actually did really enjoy this episode, and I gotta give this episode of The Walking Dead an A-. There were a few things that could have been done better. I felt it might have jumped a little too much. We didn't get too much of a story for any character, really. The best parts were obviously the Michonne and Rosita and Daryl and Tara stuff. The Carol stuff was there, it was important. It wasn't very entertaining, but it was, like I said, important. All the Rick stuff is important, and that's perfectly fine. It wasn't the most exciting stuff, but you still feel tension because he's dealing with people who have betrayed them in the past. So Yeah, it was still an enjoyable episode. I'd say one of the better ones this season, but definitely is an important episode for the future of this season and the series overall. And now on to the Easter eggs. I only found a couple. One of them is when Maggie is talking to Gregory. She's holding this watch. That is the same watch that Herschel gave to Glenn, which then Maggie took after Glenn's death last season, which seems weird that was a season ago. It's very sad that character is gone, but the watch still remains and the reminder still remains, and they're still talking about Glenn, and I actually really do appreciate the fact that they are still referencing the reason why they hate Negan so much, and they need to keep that alive until that character has been taken care of. Then again, at the end of the episode where Jade has put Rick in a crate, she comes over and writes an A on the crate. And the letter A has played a huge part in The Walking Dead. They had an A on the crate at Terminus. That's where all Rick and everyone were held when Rick said they're screwing with the wrong people. Or if you have the DVD or Blu-ray, he says a different word. And I absolutely love that part of that episode. It was awesome. And I seem to remember them having A's on the backs of their hands at Alexandria. To signify what? I don't know. Probably just that they're from Alexandria or they're adults or something. I don't know. And Daryl had a letter A on his shirt when he was imprisoned by Negan at the sanctuary. So A has played a big role, strangely. And I don't know why everything is labeled A. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if there's significance to that beyond just, hey, it's a callback to previous episodes, or if it's something else entirely. We shall see. But I just have a feeling that the trash people are just holding Rick until a savior can come get him, and that's why they marked it with an A to be like, this is the crate that you want to look in. It's got what you want. Rick. So unfortunately, that is all the Easter eggs that I found. If you found any more, let me know in the comments below. But let's talk predictions and where we think this show is going, either in the next episode or even future episodes in the season or in the series. In the next episode, we see that, Daryl, Tara, Rosita, and Michonne, they are not just wanting to look at the sanctuary, but Daryl also wants to just end it right now. He wants to take control and end Negan and the Saviors right now. I have this feeling that they have the RPG back. They can use that to blow a hole in the walls of the sanctuary. Daryl wanted to do it with the dynamite last episode or 2 episodes ago, so he's got more ammunition now, so they can. And that worries me. I don't know if he's just going to try and drive through it or what, but Daryl needs to calm it down. He feels bad, I still think, about getting Glenn killed. He punched Negan, and that's what led Negan to kill Glenn. So I still think he feels bad about that, and he wants to redeem himself, and he's willing to die to do it. It looks like Rick is going to have to face another challenge by the trash people or the heapsters. Last season, he had to fight off against this spiky walker. He was covered in metal spikes, posts through him. Basically just to see if he can survive. There were a lot of other dead people that didn't quite make it, so I think they got another challenge for him. So I don't know what to expect from that, but I'm excited to see where they take it because they only have 2 episodes left this year. They need to wrap that up quickly because the mid-season finale needs to be big. And we are all hoping that they take care of the Saviors and Negan. But I kind of hope that it carries on to the next half of the season because they easily can. They easily can. Speaking of Negan, it looks like he might be figuring out who betrayed him at the sanctuary, if it's Dwight or Eugene, because we know that it's them. And, they're trying to be like, hey, we got to survive together. And Dwight's basically telling him, all you have to do to survive is nothing. Do nothing. And that's all he's asking him to do. Just shut up. Don't spill the beans because we can get out of this and we can end the Saviors. And I do like the fact that they're teaming up because if you remember, nearing the end of season 6, Dwight, he held Eugene kind of hostage for a second, and Eugene just turns around, bites him in the crotch area, in the sensitive areas, and it's like they're teamed up together. Somehow they went from being held hostage and biting Dwight to working together to get out of the Saviors and the Sanctuary. So, yeah, I'm excited to see if they can actually pull it off, if they can both survive, because I honestly still kind of like Eugene. I know I think I said before that I'm not a fan of his anymore, but I want to see him get out of this, and I want to see him get back with the survivors and Rick and everyone and start making bullets, because they talked about that. He knows the place to make them. They haven't brought that back since that episode with Rosita, so I thought that's why Negan took him, because it's like, hey, he's smart. We can make bullets. Why haven't they used that yet? Maybe they've just been doing it in the background. They haven't said it, but I actually want to see that take place, because the bar is going to have to be raised even further after Negan. So, yeah. Speaking of which, the bar I think that's going to be raised is with the trash people. I still think that they're going to become the Whisperers, because they talk very creepily, very minimalistically too. So I have a feeling that they are going to be the Whisperers that we will see later on. So unfortunately, that is all I have for you for this episode. What did you guys think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out my other Walking Dead videos. Stay tuned for the rest of this season. I will be reviewing, breaking down, giving my thoughts on the rest of this season. And make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified when we upload new content. And definitely check out our Patreon page and consider supporting us, where you can get early access to videos and possibly be in a future video with me. The video of your choosing, reviewing a movie, doing a top 10 list, whatever. I'm totally open to suggestions. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.